And so the journey continues, adding value and turning the dial. Two very important components. For me personally, a very important phrase. For a very large part of my life, adding value and turning the dial was my slogan, my phrase. It was how I used to operate or how I operate and what I do. I always wanted to resonate myself with being able to add value and turn the dial. At the time when I first heard this phrase, it was 2013, around about December. I did not necessarily understand what this phrase actually meant, but because at the time I was in a space of entrepreneurship or in an organization of entrepreneurship as the finance guy in the finance team, I quickly resonated to it because it sounded cool. It had a little bit of swag to it, and I just liked the phrase, and I loved the concept even more. That I just want to add value and turn the dial. So, in my role that I played as the accountant, I wanted to add value and turn the dial. And later I realized that the thing of adding value and turning the dial is quite interesting because adding value literally refers to improving, enhancing something to make it more beneficial or make it more valuable. And then on the other hand, turning the dial refers to making a significant change or adjustment to achieve a desired outcome or a performance level. Like quite literally hitting those goals, whether it be shooting right out of the park, like hitting that baseball for a home run, or just incrementally making those steps slowly but surely to your goal. And it was quite interesting on this journey where I was working at a company in um, mobile money transfers. It was a startup business at the time, and it was budding and buzzing as the entrepreneurship space is. The operations were taking place in Zambia, and we were the support office in Cape Town. I was obviously in the accounting team, and then we moved offices to Greenpoint, Somerset Road. And what an amazing experience it was. The directors were so generous, so generous, and they got us a coffee machine. Not just any coffee machine, but a two-porter filter coffee machine. I forget the name right now, but it was always my desire and something that I wanted to do to make coffee. I obviously then took it on myself to learn how to make coffee. The barista also so generously lent some of the time to me journeying on this coffee making endeavor. I then found myself in the finance team and making coffee. And obviously, as you may know, I spent more of my time making coffee. But still, my slogan and my phrase was I'm adding value and turning the dial. So whether I was more hours at the coffee machine making coffee, I had to put in the time and the effort to make up the time in my work and always ensure that I'm hitting those goals, hitting those deadlines, because the company obviously depended on it. The company was requiring me to never miss the target and to always be that benefit to the organization in the product and the service it was providing to its clients. I then always used to meet people at the door, and I used to say to them if they're visiting for the first time and I meet them at the door, I'd say, "Welcome, I'm Andrew and I'm part of the and I'm part of the welcoming committee." And it was so interesting, like that my desk was upstairs, the coffee machine was downstairs. And I'd always make this journey up and down throughout the day. And there were times where those visitors would ask, "Where's that guy that was greeting me earlier today?" And he said he's part of the welcoming committee. And those that they asked would be like, no, there's no there's no welcoming committee. But I just took it upon myself to add value in that sense of the word to those people that just came to visit, and to make them feel comfortable as if they were family. And this was my journey with adding value and turning the dial. I think when we think about adding value and turning the dial, we can place this phrase in any aspect of our life, whether it be family, whether it be friends, whether it be in business, whether it be someone you don't necessarily know, but you can see there's an opportunity to add value or turn the dial. There's an opportunity even when it comes to investing, right? To add value and turn the dial. And I'd like to delve a bit deeper into sort of these two phrases, adding value and turning the dial. Adding value, as we discussed, was or is about improving something, someone, to benefit them and to make them more valuable. Turning the dial, on the other hand, is to sort of make an increase or an adjustment or significant change to something or someone that can lead them to profit more profoundly. And these two things are quite interesting when it is put together, because we look at it in a sense of a system. A system cannot effectively work correctly if at the start it is not initiated as it is intended to initiate. Whether you are started properly, but you get along into the process of the system and you do not operate it as it is intended, and the system will not work efficiently and effectively. So I believe that adding value and turning the dial is to really make someone's life simpler, is to really effect onto someone and in someone a greater level of maybe love, maybe joy, maybe kindness, happiness towards that person or towards a group of people that can change the spectrum of the day, that can change the spectrum of what it is they are doing. As we know and we understand that we don't necessarily have every day the same. We sometimes have good days, and I'm sure I can believe that Mondays are not those days. Just kidding. But there must be at some point in your life where you have this inclination to add value and turn the dial. Because I believe that in this space that we are in this world we are living in, how much times do you see that we have the propensity to add value and turn the dial towards another person? Because when you look at news, I don't see adding value and turning the dial. We most of the time see exposing something that someone did, and we have no idea whether it is truth. We have no idea whether it is half truth or if it's just all opinion or lies. So I believe that when we look at this segment of adding value and turning the dial, we can easily look at it in terms of a brotherhood, right? Where we understand that when you are in a relationship with someone, it takes quite a bit of effort. It takes quite a bit of you being intentional. And we are very much in a space in this time where everyone is doing something that they are kind of unfamiliar with, where you find something that you're passionate about, not in what you are used to, not in what you relate to most times. As we understand that when you go and study, many lawyers end up not being a lawyer, many accountants end up not being an accountant, but they end up doing something where you can be a value add and turn the dial in their life. As for myself, I like to believe that I'm a proficient business person, and anyone that I come in contact with and they like business or they're in business or they want to understand a bit more about business, I am surely inclined to give them a piece of advice that can transcend what they are currently thinking about in their business. That can give them that measure of value add in their thoughts, even that can change the idea that they have in their mind into something tangible in their hand. That can maybe turn the dial in that idea or whatever it is that they want to do to maybe make that profit or revenue that they really want to make. And it is really that simple, where we have that level of empathy towards our brother, our sister, our friend, that we really just want them to win. So, with that being said, let us take a stance of adding value and turning the dial so that we can not just change the spectrum of our circle, but change the spectrum of our community and essentially change the spectrum of the world at hand. And it is going to start with just you and me, regardless of whether the greater community decides or finds this as something they would like to do. It is not up to us. But if we believe we have that sort of resonant feeling about adding value and turning the dial, let us take the step to transcend our brothers and our sisters into greater than they currently are. Because I'm sure we all understand our blind spots, or we understand blind spots. We don't necessarily see or know our own, but surely we have people in our life that can add value and turn the dial in those areas that we don't see. So thanks again for tuning in and listening. This is Dee-Boor, and I am Andrew James Stewart, and I am living my dream, and I hope you decide to live your dream too.